Um, Side effects of hormones, and again, I'm not a doctor or anything like that, but there's a couple things, and I hear a lot of people say things about side effects on the liver, and it does make sense that if you ingest it, it's going to get processed one extra time before it even has any opportunity to have effect on your body. So you'll be taking more medicine to have the same effect because of that. But also keep in mind that your liver is probably one of the most resilient organs in your body. And as long as you're not stressing it in other ways, like serious drinking or lots of other medications and things like that, that's probably not the biggest concern that you should have in your transition. I think deep vein thrombosis and all of the complications of that are probably something that you should keep your eye on more. And that comes from your hormone levels. So I think the name of the game is as far as transition goes, is to get your hormone levels where they need to be consistently and effectively. And so I went through a time where I was trying to get injectables, and I was fighting and couldn't get it. And I can't say that, and then I finally did switch, and I can't say, and since then I've actually had more problems because my levels are not as consistent as they were before when I was taking oral. We still haven't figured out that. So that means I'll have to have more blood tests. That means I might be taking less hormones now than I should be, so there are some concerns there. So the difference between it's probably a per person thing, and can you get the results and the hormone levels that you need through that particular method. You had asked about sexual side effects, and for me that's kind of a different, I have a different perspective, and I've never been a very sexual person. I didn't go through a stage where I was acting in a, I don't know, it's always been, I've always wanted to be close to someone and be intimate with someone, but not have sex. I never felt that way. And it seemed normal. There were people who just, seemed very sexually charged during puberty and, even college. Lots of friends talking about sex, thinking about sex a lot, more than I did. So once I started transitioning, I didn't really notice any difference as far as how I felt about it immediately, and I don't think as far as effects goes, I didn't notice anything like that. But long term, I actually find myself thinking about sex more now that I'm comfortable with me, and I'm hoping to find situations. So I don't, I can't say if that's it's probably the most important side effect of anything, is that it's about me. I feel better about me, and I'm more interested in having relationships with people sexually now than I was then, because I just wasn't interested in the way that whole dynamic worked with the man-woman sort of thing. Hormones, with the cost of them, they vary. And for me, I've always had insurance, so I pay when I was doing oral, which was covered by insurance, because I don't know, and probably not supposed to be, but they were paying for it. So, and that was $10 a month, and then sometimes it was free because of the particular plan I was on. They do free generics, but one time when I switched companies, they messed up my coverage, and so when I went there to pay or to pick them up, they made me pay $90-something for 1 month, and that was pretty scary to think about, that I could lose insurance, or they could continue, or they could stop charging or stop paying for it, and then I'd have to pay $90 a month, and that's a good amount of money. So I would think, I'm guessing it's around $90 a month. There might be a different way that you could get it a little bit cheaper than that or something for the oral, and that was for 6 milligrams a month, 6 milligrams a day for a month. And those are 2 milligrams, those 90 pills basically. So they're about $1 a pill, it sounds like. The injectable ends up not being as expensive. That I think I ended up getting like 3 months worth for $100 or something, including the needles and everything like that. So it's like 30 bucks. So it's about a third of the cost, $1 a day. But those, like I said, those aren't the huge expenses. Like electrolysis has been by far the biggest, and I even did some laser. So I spent $2,000 on laser even before that. So hair removal has been the biggest expense so far. And if I think about just the cost of that, I'm almost up to $17,000, $18,000 just on hair removal, which I can say I'm so happy that I did, and I'm so happy that I'm almost done with that. I've got about 100. I don't even know where I am actually. 210 hours or something like that. I think I probably have another 3 or 4 months between an hour and 2 hours a week. So that's a tremendous expense, and I think that's the one that you need to pay attention to. In addition to GRS and FFS if you need. Obviously those are very expensive too. The number you should, I think, have in your head if you're thinking about FFS is $30,000, and GRS is probably $20,000, and you might find places where it's a little less expensive. But I don't know if I would shop for too many bargains for those. So the money, hormones aren't the biggest expense, and so you should definitely try. I mean, you don't want to be in the middle of transition. You want to get through transition quickly, and to be stuck in the middle is probably a lot harder of a place. So think about all of those costs and how you would deal with that, and have a plan before you start, because like I said, being in the middle probably would not be a good place to be stuck with no option to move forward.